Well, I've just recently celebrated my 50th birthday, and this is my birthday present. A trip back in the Lake District. My trip to the Lake District today brings me to Keswick, the North Lake's most popular holiday and day trip destination. Nestling between the Skiddaw Mountains and Derwent Water Lake, the town is situated in an idyllic location in the Lake District National Park. Looking around Keswick today, it is difficult to imagine it as an industrial town, but from the 16th to the 19th centuries, it was at the centre of an important mining district. The local iron and copper mines suffered from a shortage of skilled labour, and, in Elizabeth I's reign, German miners had to be imported into the area. By the late 17th century, most of these mines were worked out, but during the 18th and early 19th centuries, there was a revival, this time with the mining of graphite, the basis of Keswick's best-known industry, the manufacture of pencils. The last graphite mine closed in 1838, but the pencil and crayon industry has survived to this day, and among Keswick's unique attractions is a pencil museum. The main street is dominated by the early 19th century Moot Hall, which, unfortunately for me, was completely covered in scaffolding at the time of my visit. It was built on the site of an Elizabethan building. At one time, the upper floor was the council chamber and the ground floor a market. Now the building is devoted to what is Keswick's major industry, serving as a tourist information centre. Tourism began in the 19th century with the coming of the railway. Although the railway has now gone, the tourists continue to arrive in ever-increasing numbers. To cater for the needs of the tourists, visitors and holiday makers, there is a wide range of hotels, guest houses, bed and breakfasts, hostels, self-catering cottages and campsites, as well as a wide variety of shops, cafes, tea rooms and restaurants. There are also a good number of pubs, and during my stay in Keswick, my personal favourite was the Dog and Gun, a Grade 2 listed 18th century building, now a busy inn with great atmosphere and superb local ale, in particular the Lowes Water Gold. I started to walk along Lake Road, which took me from the town centre towards the lake. Strolling beside a pitch and putt golf course and then into Crow Park, it wasn't long before I would reach the lake. staying here in Keswick in a bed and breakfast called Apple Trees. And that's it, just there behind me. A really nice place, friendly lady that runs it, and the single room I'm staying in is actually a decent sized room for a change. I'm so used to staying in guest houses where single rooms are just about big enough to squeeze the bed in, but nothing more than that. So this is actually quite a spacious single room. It's also handy being here in Keswick because apart from being a nice place in itself, it's a good base for exploring the northern lakes. I took a stroll beside Derwent Water, one of the main lakes in the north section of the Lake District. The lake lies immediately south of Keswick and occupies part of Borrowdale. It is both fed and drained by the River Derwent. It measures approximately 3 miles long by 1 mile wide and is some 72 feet deep. There are several islands within the lake, one of which is inhabited. Derwent Island House, an 18th century residence, is a tenanted National Trust property open to the public on 5 days each year. Derwent Water is a place of considerable scenic value. It is surrounded by lakeland fells, and many of the slopes facing Derwent Water are extensively wooded. A regular passenger launch operates on the lake, taking passengers between various landing stages. There are 7 lakeside marinas, including here in Keswick, from which boats may be hired. I had decided to do a 7-mile circular walk from Keswick, so I began by following the lakeshore from the marina. I soon reached Friar's Crag, one of the great scenic high spots of the Lake District. It is not hard to see why. The views across Derwent Water to Cat Bells, and the range of higher peaks behind, and especially the views down the whole length of the lake into the start of Borrowdale, are outstanding. In October 1900, a memorial was erected here at Friar's Crag to John Ruskin, who once said that Keswick was a place almost too beautiful to live in. The monument is now a Grade 2 listed structure. I continued with my walk as it led me southwards between the lake and the Borrowdale Road. slowly climbing up away from Derwent Water now, so I'm going to carry on up here towards Crag. My path climbed up through thick conifer woods, skirting the slopes of Crag. Eventually, I left the woods behind, and as I was now in open country and fairly high up, the unobstructed views were fantastic. Well, now that I'm 50, I still feel absolutely no different at all. I still feel half my age. It's just a number. And I have to say, it's a fantastic birthday present coming here to the Lake District again. It's all thanks to Mum, because basically she has paid for my accommodation here in Keswick whilst I'm staying in the Lake District. Climbing on up, I eventually came to the top as I passed Castlerigg Farm, where there is a caravan and camping site. As I headed on from here, I had amazing views of the surrounding fells. After a while, I came to the main A591 Keswick to Windermere Road. I crossed over and followed a lane to the next point of interest on my walk. Situated on a plateau and impressively encircled by Skiddaw, Blencathra, High Dodd, High Rigg, Helvellyn and the Derwent Fells, which form a natural amphitheatre, the setting of Castlerigg Stone Circle is certainly dramatic. It is made up of 38 stones, grouped in an oval, about 100 to 110 feet in diameter, with a further 10 stones outside the circle to the southeast. As is the case with all such circles found in this country, little is known about it. It might date from the Neolithic period or the Bronze Age, possibly erected around 1500 BC or earlier. It might have been a religious monument, or a political and administrative centre, or a combination of both. It is frustrating not to know more, but there is no doubt that the mystery only adds to the undeniably powerful atmosphere of the place. Well, that was Castlerigg Stone Circle. I'm now going to walk back towards Keswick. As I reached the outskirts of Keswick, I followed a path climbing through thick woodland towards Castlehead viewpoint. Emerging at the top, I found a well-placed seat. Here I paused to enjoy the finest view of all on a walk of fine views. A magnificent vista of lakes, islands, woodlands and rugged peaks, looking across Derwent Water, Keswick and Bassenthwaite. Descending back through the trees, I crossed the Borrowdale Road again, following a path leading back to the landing stages at Derwent Water. It had been a brilliant walk, and that evening I would enjoy a meal and a beer or two in Keswick's fine local pubs. A nice thought as I headed back to my guest house.